On April 30th, 2019, Paramount Pictures released a trailer for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and it didn't go well. People were like, hey, excuse me, I think something's wrong because Sonic doesn't look like Sonic, and also he's a little terrifying. I don't like looking at him. And the producers probably saw this backlash and thought, oh, we messed up. I mean, design-wise, it looks like somebody played Sonic once when they were a kid and then described it from memory. It wasn't good. The studio saw this reaction from fans and it was like, wait, guys, it kind of sounds like you're not gonna pay us money to come see this movie. And everybody was like, yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. So in an attempt to protect their investment or make fans happy or whatever they said, they decided to push the release date back a couple of months and try to make Sonic, less nightmare inducing. Although I'm sure for some people that damage is already done, because after all, he could be in your room right now for all you know, just looking at you with those human eyes, sharpening those chompers of his, and he's hungry, he's ready to eat. So while the studio is off fixing that, I want to take a look at why exactly this trailer got nearly 700,000 dislikes on YouTube in its first month online. Because beyond just being a bad trailer, which it is, I think that this whole thing is a great representation of some serious problems that Hollywood is having. Problems that have to do with the Uncanny Valley, and not just in the traditional sense of the term. So to start, what is the Uncanny Valley? First off, alright, Uncanny Valley is a very creepy name. I mean, it sounds like a retirement complex for haunted mannequins. If somebody asked you, hey, do you want to go to Uncanny Valley? You'd be like, no, because it sounds like I would die there. On the list of creepiest names for things, this is right up there with like Cape Fear and Slaughter Beach. Luckily though, Uncanny Valley isn't an actual place, so you don't need to worry about taking a wrong turn and ending up there or anything. Now, the valley we're talking about here is on a chart, which isn't very creepy at all. I mean, look, there's the line rider dude is on it, so it's totally safe. The term Uncanny Valley was coined by this robotics professor guy, Masahiro Mori, and this guy was like, hey, some robots are creepy and others aren't. What's going on there? And what he found was that at a certain point, if a robot starts looking and or moving in a way that's just a little bit too human, your brain does not like that. It basically registers that, okay, so this is a human, but something is seriously off about them, and I don't like it at all. See, our brains have evolved to pick up when something is off about another human. It's a survival thing, because a human looking off could mean that they've got some kind of serious disease that you should avoid because you might catch it too. It's the same basic thing that makes zombies a little freaky to look at, or the movement of that old lady from It Chapter 2 just super disturbing. And even though this Uncanny Valley thing was originally about robots, it's something that movies deal with now when it comes to CGI. They think they're gonna make you happy by showing you a CGI Tom Hanks singing about hot chocolate, but in reality, your brain is going, something is wrong with Tom Hanks. I'm gonna die a horrible death if I go near Tom Hanks. And also, don't get me wrong, CGI is amazing, and we've come a long way from the Toy Story dog of nightmares. It's also still improving like crazy, and you can tell it is. Because when Avengers Endgame came out, like half the audience thought Professor Hulk was a little weird looking, but the other half shared screenshots of him with the caption Daddy, which I thought was inappropriate, but hey, I mean, that's great CGI, I guess. That being said, we're not quite there yet, Sometimes you'll be watching a movie and suddenly a little Uncanny Valley moment just creeps in. That little caveman survival part of your brain just switches on and it's uncomfortable. So that's Uncanny Valley. Now back to our little blue boy, Sonic the Hedgehog. People have never really been super freaked out by video game Sonic. I mean, he does have one giant eye with two pupils, which is kind of insane, and that certainly doesn't look good on a human. But when the trailer for the Sonic movie came out, the unanimous reaction was like, oh, that is a creepy looking character. So why was that? Well, I think it's because they designed him in a way that had just enough human elements to dip our toes into the Uncanny Valley. You look at Detective Pikachu, like he's got realistic fur and stuff, but nothing superhuman. So he's cute. He's very cute. You want to cuddle with him, you don't feel like he's gonna bite your face off. You look at Sonic and he has a full mouth of photorealistic human teeth, and it kind of takes away from the charm of an animated character when you can be like, huh, this guy flosses. I can tell that he flosses. They also separated his big signature single eye into two smaller, more human eyes. I can picture his optic nerves behind those things way too easily. And they changed his proportions from a giant-headed cartoon character to something with more human proportions. He has calf muscles. We don't need to see his calf muscles. Like a lot of people pointed out online, this Sonic looks a whole lot like that kid in Jumanji. When he's transforming into a monkey? So if they were aiming for a cute, lovable lovable character and they landed on human child in 90s monkey makeup, you know, it's safe to say that they missed the mark. Now, obviously, Sonic doesn't look like an actual human. He looks more like the halfway point of an Animorph, you know? If a human was turning into Sonic and they used the middle part of that transformation, that's kind of what it looks like. But there's some human-looking stuff going on for sure. I can appreciate why they thought this could be a good idea. You know, if Sonic's gonna be running around in our world, maybe he should look a little more like something that could actually obey the laws of physics of our world. Then again, he's supposed to be this crazy fast character, and that doesn't excuse the teeth, but maybe the other stuff a little, I don't know. All in all though, there was just a smidgen too much human going on. So a little part of our brains were like, this thing probably has a disease that might kill me. I now associate Sonic the Hedgehog with me dying. Now, moving past how the character looked, I think there's a lot more going on in this trailer that reflects a problem with some movies today. Because some fans have already remade this trailer with a more traditional looking Sonic. And even without the tooth monster, this whole trailer itself still has this feeling of being a little off. It feels like a fake movie. Do you know what I mean? Like in the movie Funny People, when they had those fake movies that Adam Sandler's character had done, like he turned into a baby. You're like, yeah, that seems like a movie Hollywood would make. Or anything Vinny Chase starred in Entourage. I mean, except Aquaman, because that one ended up actually happening. I'm talking about Entourage way too much for my taste, but the point is, the Sonic trailer feels like it's pretending to be a movie. And I think that could also be attributed to the Uncanny Valley, but in like a fancy metaphorical way. See, we covered that in the Uncanny Valley, things seem like they're actually alive. They're very familiar, but deep down we know that something is not quite right. Same general vibe watching this trailer. It definitely looks like a movie trailer, so why this feeling of fakeness? I think it's because it's pretty much entirely composed of moments we've seen before in other movies. Take Jim Carrey. Don't literally take him, that's illegal, and I'm just making a point. But so his crazy, high-octane physical comedy was super popular in the 90s, right? Ace Ventura, The Mask, Liar Liar, him just going insane on the set of Man on the Moon.
Yes.
And in this Sonic trailer, we have him channeling some of that 30-year-old Jim Carrey energy, while physically looking 56. Now that's not to say anything bad against aging in any way. I mean, we all do it. It's a beautiful, natural part of life. But right off the bat, I mean, it's something that we're super familiar with, presented in a packaging that's, you know, slightly different. He looks a little more tired, a little more worn out. It looks like a very good impression of himself. Also, he's pretty clearly reading a cue card during the most Jim Carrey-ish moment of the trailer, like this is an SNL sketch or something. It's like watching Jim Carrey not quite nailing Jim Carrey. And then there's the humor itself. He's talking to an army general and basically doing a beat for beat of the Zip It and Scotty Don't bits from the Austin Powers movies.
Zip.
Once again, it's familiar, but it feels off. Then there's the use of Gangsters Paradise in the trailer. I don't think I could legally play the actual song in this video, so here's a little taste of a completely unrelated song I wrote called, Hoodlum's Heaven. Been spending a lot of time living in a hoodlum's heaven. Sometimes, or I'd even say often, trailers and movies ironically use hip-hop songs in a way that's like, hey, this song doesn't fit with the characters we're showing you, isn't that funny? Please clap. In the Sonic trailer, it's so transparently something that they did just because other trailers have done it too. But since we don't know anything about their Sonic character and he has so many goddamn distracting teeth, it's unearned and it just doesn't feel right. Is this supposed to be funny because he's not a gangster? I don't know, you haven't told me anything. What are you going for? Then there's that cliche something fast goes past a police officer moment. That is the go-to move when movies want to show that something is fast. We've seen it 1,000 times before. There's also a scene where Sonic is so fast that time basically stands still and he's able to run around with a bunch of bullets and missiles and stuff. Never mind that doesn't make sense because we just saw him get hit with a dart, unless he hits a power-up, I don't know. It just seems like the filmmakers watched the Quicksilver X-Men Days of Future Past scene and were like, hey, we have a fast character too, let's do you know, that exact same thing, but with our guy. Or maybe they dusted off an old VHS copy of Clock Stoppers. Remember that movie with Jesse Bradford? That guy from Star Trek directed it for some reason. Anyway, there's also a double whammy of recycled jokes in a single moment in the Sonic trailer. After Jim Carrey does his long speech while he's reading a cue card, his assistant steps in and does like the translation for everyone, aka that thing from every movie ever where some tech guy says something complicated and another character's like, in English please. Plus his translation is that quote,
"The doctor thinks you're basic."
Hello, fellow kids. I guarantee Sonic is gonna dab in this movie. He's gonna dab, and we're all just gonna have to deal with it. He might also play Fortnite or do that floss dance, but he's for sure gonna dab. I could go on and on about this, but the point I'm getting at here is that despite this technically being a movie and a trailer we've never seen before, we've totally already seen it before. I can't speak for how the actual movie will be, but it definitely seems like the screenwriters assembled a bunch of scenes and tropes we're familiar with and just kind of replaced all their names with Sonic characters. And the trailer itself seems like the studio called a guy like, "Hey, have you ever cut a trailer before?" And he was like, "No, but I've seen trailers before." And they were like, "That's perfect." Just like the actual meaning of Uncanny Valley, there's a part inside all of us that just knows that this thing isn't actually alive. So all in all, the Sonic trailer was a fascinating train wreck, and I'm so glad it happened. It was bad. It was really bad, but like in a perfect way that highlights a variety of things that Hollywood is having trouble with, like trying to cash in on nostalgia without actually caring about the original material. There's some serious nostalgia money to be made if you do a good job of it. Disney is well aware of that. But if your target audience is people that love Sonic the Hedgehog and your best effort is a blue cat with teeth running past a cop, you know, they're not going to be super into it. It also highlights the Uncanny Valley CGI problem that Hollywood's dealing with. The technology has gotten incredible, but it's still very easy to accidentally make a CGI character that people's brains associate with dying. Pixar's playing it pretty smart, actually. A lot of the time, they stick to characters that are animals or objects. Their humans aren't given hyper-realistic elements that make them look like zombies. Woody has teeth, but they don't look exactly like ours. Pixar's even able to use the Uncanny Valley to their advantage, like how they made the dummies from Toy Story 4 super creepy. And the Sonic trailer showcases what I think is a major problem in a lot of scripts today. Instead of getting truly creative and inventive, a lot of moments seem recycled from other movies. Nothing really connects with us because we've seen it before in one way or another. Are moments happening in the movie because the characters and plot have properly set them up, or are they happening because other movies had moments like that and people thought they were pretty cool? It's like how every action movie started doing fancy slow-mo stuff after The Matrix came out, you know? It's like, okay, yeah, it's cool, but why? People can really connect with characters in movies if we're able to relate to them on a human level. But if we see a character or a movie that doesn't actually feel alive, it makes us just feel all weird inside. We don't like it. Nothing about the Sonic trailer actually felt alive. It's Hollywood's weird Frankenstein monster nostalgia baby, and hopefully a lot of lessons can be learned from it. But they probably won't be. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts were on the Sonic trailer, and what you think about the whole Uncanny Valley creepiness. What's the worst case of that you've seen in a movie? Let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell and all the things that people do on the internet. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.